the whole truth? You're kind of like just telling him, and then you're gonna like share with them this recording. So this recording, so you guys got upset over, I mean, the argument started over some sort of infidelity question.
Right. Yeah. So the argument, it started over me asking him, obviously, like who he was talking to. It was like really late at night. We were living in LA at the time together now. And, I just had noticed he wasn't in like the bed, like, and I go, to the front room, I ask him like, who are you talking to? And he's in the bathroom at the time. And so I go back into the bedroom and I sit on the bed and I kind of like just wait for him to come in there. And he comes in and it starts off like how it usually starts, just like he's tired of me asking that question. I'm always asking him. And what Larry doesn't know is that he signed into to his Gmail account on my laptop and left it. So I could see how he's cheating on me, And so when he's asking me or telling me, I'm tired of you asking me this question. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm like, I do know you are, because, I can see that. That's why I'm getting upset. And then I see you lying to me about it, So, right. So, we're just having a verbal argument. That's how it starts. We're having a verbal argument, and he's going back and forth. But like I said, I noticed within this verbal argument, he's just getting like super fed up. He's just super tired of me, like I'm telling you, confronting him about infidelity and me still just not laying it to rest, not just backing down from it. So, one thing leads to another. We're still having our verbal argument, and he kind of starts off the argument after saying, I'm tired of you asking me the question. He does ask me to leave, because I know people in like my comments were saying that, well, it sounds like he's asking you to leave. He initially starts off by saying like, okay, I want you to go. And so he says that. We keep talking about the situation.
Okay.
Finally, after talking for so long, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get ready to leave. I'm sorry, cussing. I'm gonna get it.
Girl, we cuss a lot on this show.
I was like, it's okay. That's okay, because
I probably said fuck in the first 3 minutes.
Oh, cool. Okay. Because I was like, it got to be expressed correctly. Yeah. So he's, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna. Fuck it, I'm gonna leave. I'm tired. He's tired. I'm tired.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting on the bed and my laptop is in my laptop case and it's near the bed. So I grab my laptop, and you got to keep in mind, I have two laptops. Larry bought me a laptop after breaking the first one. And then I have another laptop that I actually bought myself.
Okay.
And that was the laptop that was in the bag. So I'm getting ready to grab my stuff. And now he's like, no, you can't leave. And he's like, that's my laptop. And I'm like, no, this is my laptop, but he doesn't know that that's not the laptop that he bought me. I'm maybe assuming he thought that was the laptop that he bought me, but it was my laptop. And I didn't want to take my laptop out and show him because I knew he would break it, because he smashed my last laptop to smithereens. Like I posted in my story a picture of the laptop and the camera. It was just smashed, Wow. And I didn't want him to do the same thing to this laptop. So, and keep in mind, I had put my cell phone in my laptop bag because I was recording. I had already started recording. So I didn't want him to just take all of that and break it and break my phone. So I'm like, oh, this is my laptop. He's like, this is my laptop. So now he's not allowing me to leave. And that's what I didn't really mention, I guess, in my first video. Yeah. So, we get into this kind of like, where you're like, no, let me go. And they're doing this, like, can't leave, like that jerk around type of thing. And like, I kid you not, it went from like him trying to snatch the laptop from me and I'm like bear hugging it with one arm to him just like grabbing me by the shoulders and then ended up pushing me on the ground. And so that's what you guys can hear in the video. The first clip is, I think I'm trying to remember how the clip plays out. It starts off with the boom, boom, boom. Like you can kind of like hear a little boom, you know, sounds of hitting. That's him hitting me. Now you have to keep in mind, I think most people think like I was like directly on and he was like, boom, you know, like we're not standing up. I'm laying on my back in like a kind of like on my back, but kind of like in a fetal position. Like my legs are 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And then I'm bear hugging my laptop against my body and my other arms like this. So he doesn't have direct access to my eyes or my nose where most black and blue happens on your face. He doesn't have that because I'm like this. But what he has access to is obviously my legs, because my legs are in a crouched position. So they're just right there, more so in front of him.
Yeah.
He obviously has access to my sides, my ribs, and then he has access to hear my head and the perimeters of my face. And that's what I see in my video, the areas in which he hit me. So that's where he was hitting me.
Jeez.
And I'm trying to think the video, you can boom, boom, boom. And that's why you guys hear me saying like, get off me, get off me. This is my laptop. This is my laptop, because he's hitting me and still trying to take the laptop from me. So that's the first sound, the sound clip you guys can hear. So he ends up like getting off of me, and then he ends up going back to the front where the door is. It's a pretty big apartment. So he ends up going to the front where the door is. And I hear him over there, and there's a kitchen in the middle, it's a bedroom, and then the front entrance. And so I hear him kind of like all the way in the front. So I'm just in my mind, like, I'll be honest with you, and I hate to admit it, especially publicly, but I was so in fear of my life. I was so fucking scared of that dude that night. Like, just the way that he looked. I mean, you guys can hear his sound of his voice, but like the sound of his voice, like he's fucking huge. I'm just like, I think that's definitely the scaredest I've ever been of Larry. Like it was
so terrifying that first time I heard that, and how aggressive it sounded. Like that shit sounded so aggressive, and I was like almost animalistic. But I was like, damn, I would be scared as shit.
I was scared as shit, girl. I every time I've listened to that clip, like I can't even tell you how many times, and every time I hear it, I cringe. I'm like, not even just the sound of fear, but like just the high octane of my voice. I've never even screamed like that before. Wow. So I'm like, girl, I was in fear of my life. I'm like, okay, what? And then I knew he was in the mode of like, I'm not letting you. You're not gonna leave. You're not gonna leave. Yeah. And he's in the front where the front door is. So I'm like, okay, well, like what the fuck is what am I gonna do?
Right.
Number one, like, yeah, I'm like, number one, all my shit's here. Like, we just moved to LA, so all of my clothes and belongings, everything's there, right? And it's like super like early in the morning, 2, 3, something like that in the morning. And so, I mean, the only thing that I need to do is like, okay, first I got to protect myself. Yeah. Like I can't, like, if he could like have another trip out there, like just being upset, raging or whatever, and come back here and just this time go to town even more. Yeah. Now I'm not laying on my back. Now I'm face to face with him. You know what I'm saying? Right. Where the reach of his arm and the power of his hit could be even harder this time, Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I got to protect myself. That's what I know to do. Not protect myself. Like, I'm about to get him. Like, I didn't have that, I didn't have that. Cause like I said, I think if I had been in an abusive relationship before outside of him, I probably would have been more of a woman. Like, I'm gonna get that, like this is the second motherfucker, but I didn't have that. I had the naive, like, oh my God, like, like I'm scared, like type of ordeal. So I go out to the front or to the kitchen, and I grab a knife. Yeah. I grab a knife. And he can hear me do that, and he comes like running back into the kitchen area. And I didn't grab a knife and point it at him. And I've talked to police about it, and they said once you point it, it definitely becomes more of, I forgot the exact initials for it, but it becomes more of an offense. Like, you are being offensive now because you're pointing a knife. Like, if I had a gun and pointed it at you, you know what I'm saying? But I had the knife and I put it down to my side, and That's what you guys hear in the second sound clip is me saying, you know, hey, you know, I got a knife. Do not come near me. Like, I'm literally standing in a corner. Do not come near me. Like, I'm not going to use it on you. There's no benefit, you know, all of sound clip number 2, I guess. And so I'm in the kitchen, he's in the kitchen, and I would say, like, we're just kind of, after I say that, we're just kind of standing there for like a good 2 minutes or so. Keep in mind, girl, we're like, you know, it's crazy to think now, but we're both like panting, like, you know, because like a lot of physical, you know, likeness is going on. So I feel like we're kind of just like catching our breath a little bit. And that's the beginning of sound clip 3, where I feel like I start off by saying, like, what are you doing? And he starts to call the cops on me. And the more that I think about this part of the story, I feel like with him doing that, knowing to do that, like, I'm going to call the cops. Not even thinking about, okay, I just put my hands on this woman. Right. I'm going to call the cops. Like, I'm going to call, like, most people who have, especially a man, you know, if I'm a man and I've struck a woman, I'm not going to go call the cops.
No,
I'm not going to do that. So I think that comes from not necessarily him being smart in the moment, saying like, oh, I see she has a knife, I'm going to call the cops on her to make it seem like she's the crazy one. She's the one that tried to come after me. I don't think he so calculated mentally like that. What I think it comes from is like being in that situation before, and it comes natural. And we all know that he's put a video out and has explained that his mother went through the same thing, the same exact situation, where a boyfriend of hers has physically struck her, and the boyfriend ends up calling the cops on his mother because she's upset. She's irate. She's like, what the fuck, you know? Yeah. But because she's so irate, the cops believe, because of her demeanor, which is, in my opinion, highly justifiable, because of her demeanor, you're too aggressive. Yeah. You're doing too much. And we need to calm you down. So the focus is on you, and you're being aggressive. Yeah. And it didn't end well for his mother because of that fact. Wow. And I think that him knowing to call the cops so quickly like that, it just came from just the natural thing to do.
Wow, I didn't realize that he had that history with his mother in the same sort of situation. That's crazy.
Yeah, he speaks public. He was honest about that. He spoke publicly. If you ever go to his, I think it's on his YouTube. Okay. He says that, you know, and I mean, when you think about it, like, when you go squat, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that you don't even think about now when you go squat, have a squat session. It just comes natural to you, you know, without even thinking now. And so I think with him, he has seen that before. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he knew to do that. Or it could just be like he's smart enough to just boom. I see a position I see a position she's in right now, and I could call the cops on her. So
I thought it was interesting that when he called, his voice changed.
Right. Isn't that crazy to go from like
and demeanor
6 to 0? Right. You go from 100. I could when the cops came, and I'll get to this point, when the cops came and they came through the door, it was hard for me to like just be like, okay, I'm not, I'm in, this is crazy. Yeah. So he ends up calling the cops, and like you guys can hear in the third sound clip, the cop call between him, and they're asking him what's going on. And I'm standing right there and I'm listening, and what he's answering to the cops is not the same thing that happened. And I'm like, okay, you're lying on me. That's why I'm like, in the video, I'm like, no, because and like, keep in mind, we're not like standing like this side by side. He's kind of like a small distance away, but still he's on the phone. So I need to shout and be like, wait, no, you know, hey, he's lying. That's not what's going on. That's why you hear me speaking like that, and trying to, if the 911 operator can hear that person in the back. That's what I'm thinking at the time. I don't know if that was correct thinking, but that's what I'm doing. It could have made me look more crazy, but I mean, I don't know what to do. I've never been in a situation like
I think this, I would have done the same thing. Instinctually, I would have done that.
But see, think about someone who has been in this situation, how great he was at keeping a low, nice monotone voice and calling the cops. He's seen it. He's been through it. He has experience with it. Yeah. So he ends up calling the cops. He's on the phone with the cops. They finally get to like, what does she have on? All that kind of stuff. But what most people don't know is I ended up calling the cops too. There were 2 9/11 phone calls that night, and I'm calling the cops in the midst of while he's talking to the cops about how I look and all of that, because I'm like, okay, I had to really start like, Chalesa, what are you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let me call the cops so they know what is happening here and what the truth is. So when they come through those doors, they know, they understand the situation. Yeah. So when I call the cops, I'm honest. I say, I have a knife in my hand. I'm standing in the corner. You know, I've gotten into a physical, altercation with my boyfriend and I need someone to come and help me. I'm scared. Wow. You know, and so we both called the cops on each other that night. Right. One person has no proof of, or his own idea of proof that when he called the cops, it's correct and it's right. And yes, like this is the true story. And one person has some proof that this is not right. Yeah. This is a true story. You know, so when, you know, keep in mind, he's still like standing in the doorway area, you know, so I'm standing in by the window and we call the cops, you know, we're right downtown and the LAPD station is like literally like a 2-second like walk, you know, they get there, I would say within 10-12 minutes, somewhere around there. And I'm standing more Larry's standing by the door, but they can also see me. I'm still in hindsight of when the door opens, you can see me. And immediately when they come through the door, they have their guns drawn on me. Now, keep in mind, Larry called the cops, his set of cops first. So the cops that responded to Larry's call came first before the cops that responded to my call. If the cops that responded to my call came first, they would already understand why I'm in the corner sitting by a knife. Yeah. You know, they would understand that my boyfriend has already put his hands on me. So when you come through the door, you need to come for him first, not for me. Yeah. But because he called his cop, you know, his set of cop first, and he told that story, they are in their mind, they're like a woman with a weapon. Yeah. Yeah. They get a hold of the situation. So they come through the door. They have their guns drawn on me and, you know, they tell me like, put everything down. Cause I still have my laptop, right. You know, I put everything down and, they just, handcuff me, you know, they handcuff me and, like, you know, I've been through other shit in life. You know, I've dealt with cops on that kind of level and I've had a gun drawn on me and I've dealt with, you know, just shit from the cops. So, I mean, it was not surprising, but also very surprising because I'm like, okay, why am I dealing with this? Like, why, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 5'5", 140 pounds. He is 6'1", 200 something pounds. Like, you know, but okay, this is where I'm at. So they handcuff me. They separate us. They take Larry to some part of the apartment. They take me outside and then they get our separate statements. And, I don't know. I'm not near him, so I don't know what his statement was. You know, I can't speak on that, but I'm just going to assume it was what he said in the 9/11 phone call. And they take my statement. They take his first, and then after the police officer takes his statement, he comes out and takes my statement. I tell him everything that happens. And then I also say, hey, I have these sound clips, you know, of this happening, you know, and I have one of the cops go in there and get my phone and stuff. And I'm like, this is what it is. I play it for the cop. And he's like, okay, well, yeah, these stories don't match up. And I'm like, I know they don't. This is what I'm trying to explain to you, cop. They don't match up because when he called you, he lied to you about what the story is. That's why I'm thankful that God told me, just gave me that little thing in my head. But that's why I'm letting you hear these sound clips so you can paint a better picture. I know it's not like video and evidence you need, but it's enough to, number one, take these handcuffs off me, and two, to go talk to your other person, suspect, whatever the case may be. So he's like, yeah, these stories don't match up. And so he kind of brings Larry out to the same area in which I'm in. And he kind of like looks at Larry, and then he comes over towards me. And like, keep in mind, girl, number one, I'm not going to say all cops are like this. I don't want to make no generalized statement or be judgmental towards every cop, because I definitely do not feel this way. I have lots of friends who are police officers, and they're great people. Mm-hmm. But that night with that cop, number one, it was nothing but men there. I was the only woman. They sent no woman cop. And I already felt from the way that he had been talking to me already, it was kind of like, probably how the cop talked to Larry's mom. Like, she's irate. She's crazy. Like, okay, like, you need to calm down, lady. And it's just like, number one, I'm telling you, I'm letting you hear that same sound clip you hear of how fearful I am of this person. And you're going to now add on to that fact of making me feel the way that I felt when talking to you. Like, no, like I said, when I said that compassion, like that Larry kind of lacked, it was the same thing, lack of compassion. And I get it. Maybe he's a cop. He's dealt with this 20 million times. And he's like, look, this is my 5th call of this night dealing with this. Right. But it doesn't matter. That's your job. That's your job, you know? So it was already stemming from that. And so he looked at Larry. Boom. He looked at me very quickly. And the only thing that you could see from, number one, he never had me turn around. The only thing you could see from like head to toe was, obviously from head to toe was, I had like a spaghetti strap on. It was like it broke off, you know? Yeah. And then, like, obviously my hair and everything was disheveled and stuff like that. And so he was like, okay, he just like, literally was just like, looked up and down. Okay, well, I don't see any signs of, you know what I'm saying? Signs of like, bruising or scarring, because I think when they're on the scene, especially if there is no woman cop, number one, they can't be like, well, pull your pants down or pull your shirt up so I can see your ribs, and like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, because there's more body than what you can see underneath the clothes. But I think if they can't see like distinct like blood running down my face and just like knots and, you know, then it's just kind of, okay, all right, well, I don't see anything here. So he turns to Larry and asks, do you want to press charges against her? And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? And the girl, like, this was the most, I think, self-control in my life I've ever had to like develop, because, man, like I say, I dealt with cops. I'm just going to be honest. I know a lot of people out here don't want to hear that. Or they can be like, oh, that race car, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's just because you're not black and you ain't dealt with no black issues. It's the truth. But yeah, but like, I've had cops be antagonizing. I've had cops make me be like, damn, I gotta eat it. I gotta bite it because you're a police officer, you know, and I don't want you to shoot me. I don't want you to kill me, you know. But
I mean, that's a real threat. And I think if anybody doesn't agree to that somewhat, then I think they're very naive. And I think what's even worse is statistically, black women are always looked as being crazy or over emotional. And, you know, the rate of deaths for women, black women giving birth, is another reason. I mean, they don't address women's pain the same way. Right. You know, so women are going through certain pains or post-pregnancy things and being in the hospital. And with all things equal, education, money and all that, all things being equal, black women have a higher percentage of dying. And that is because of that perception. So to have somebody you love call the cops on you, girl, he himself, he himself knows what it's like to probably be a black man.
Larry from the hood. Larry is from the Bronx. He from the hood. You know, it's good, just like me too. So it's like, I think about that and I'm like, oh my God, like especially nowadays, you know, we have that social media going on, and you can see what's going on with you know, people of color and authorities, and you know how they're killing people and getting away with it. I'm like, damn, what if like the cops was just on one that night, or I got a racist cop and he was just like, You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
and
just
just
can't
to
believe
get
they
away
didn't even
from it.
like go further with checking you or anything, because I know that's something that people are like, well, if you didn't have any, if you had bruises and he hit you, how come they didn't arrest him? Because you would have had something visible or
Right. And, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Now after the incident, like I have a therapist and stuff. I talk to him, and I've talked to other women who have been in abusive relationships. And you got to keep in mind, every physical altercation you get in with someone, they don't always just deck you in the face like
right.
crazy.
I think that's the big thing. It's like,
People think like every time you get in an altercation, they literally are like bloody faced and
yeah,
deck you, 100% power. No, sometimes they'll slap you.
yeah,
Sometimes they'll punch you and it's like 50% of their power.
yeah,
Sometimes they'll deck the fuck out of you. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
And then sometimes what I've learned, especially from my therapist, he tells me people who have experienced abuse, whether they've seen it and grown up in it or they've been an abuser for a long time, sometimes they know how to punch you without leaving marks and
Yes.
bruises on you. Because number one, y'all, everybody who's been following him forever, you see him, you see me.
Yeah.
I go to all the events, I go to everything. So like for this person to like just deck the fuck out of me and my face is bloody and all of this, I'm gonna go with him to a competition. I'm gonna go with him somewhere, and people are like, what's going on with your girl's face? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes they know how to hit you without really hitting you, but you got to keep in mind, like I said, the act of just hitting somebody.
Oh my gosh.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? The act of just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
how would you feel? I pulled out a real gun on you and I was just like, pop, pop, and I'm not shooting you, but I'm just doing it. How would you feel?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Oh
the
yeah,
same
there was
thing.
definitely. I don't think that lessens the severity of domestic violence. And I think about it like I know a lot of people who know how to punch in a way that doesn't leave a mark, but it hurts. Or it's enough to scare you too. It's like enough to hurt and scare, but not necessarily enough to, really leave huge marks on you. And I think that is a big misconception. I mean, think about like, I used to get beat up for my brother all the time. That dude used to hurt. There was never any marks. My mama didn't see none of that. So like, I mean, it was just enough, but he knows how to punch, I mean, I love my brother. So talking to him, but as an example of where I think the misconception can come from, because I felt like a lot of people were saying that and they're like, how come there were no marks? Why didn't the cops, pick them up if that was the case? And it's kind of, it's so saddening that they didn't even take that further either way.
Right. And it's like, you got to keep in mind, like I said, I've had other physical altercations with him and I have gotten scratches, bruises, black and blue, whatever you want to call it. I have gotten those things. And not to sidetrack from where we're going, but I took some photos of those things. But let's keep in mind, and I had this conversation with someone in my DM the other day. I said, you see that laptop? Because that laptop in my story, I posted, I have a picture of it. That's where those pictures were. And they're like, well, why did you get the hard drive? I'm like, because the whole laptop.
Yeah, who's thinking like that?
Yeah, exactly. It's thrown away. Right. Everything, the laptop, the hard drive is thrown away once it's smashed to smithereens, right? That's why I was so adamant about keeping the laptop I had, because what you guys, like some of my little screenshots and stuff were on this new laptop, and not because I was just keeping a diary, but that's what iCloud is.
You should. I mean, you should. I mean, I think if I was in your case and I was feeling apprehensive and not sure where that this was going, I would definitely do that. And whether or not I'd have to show that to anybody is different, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all,
Right. I didn't. I did it. It was just an iCloud thing, you save the photos, stuff like that. Yeah. So that's why I was super adamant about this laptop being taken and broken.
So of course he didn't press charges, I'm assuming.
No.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, of course not.
So nobody's arrested.
Nobody's arrested, and then they end up like, okay, well, you have to leave, ma'am. And so like in front of 4 male police officers and Larry, you got to keep in mind, I moved to LA. I have clothes upon clothes and items and my whole personal life that just came from New York. I had about 10, 15 minutes to pack all that in front of them all. And
they made you leave because you were the aggressor.
And I wasn't, that's his apartment. I stay with him. It's his apartment.
I thought it was like a joint. Well, I was thinking, why would they make you? Okay, then I can't.
Well, thank God it wasn't, thank God I wasn't on that lease with him. But
right. Jeez.
Yeah. So they end up making me leave, escorting me. But it's just, as I said, like, it took the self-control, the be chill. Like, I got to keep in mind, like, and keep in mind that whole night, I was never like, what the fuck, cop? Like, I wasn't getting like that.
Yeah.
Like, you could hear the passion in my voice, but I was probably speaking like the way I'm speaking to you now was how I was speaking to cops.
Mm-hmm.
I'm passionate. I'm upset. Like, look what I've been through. But I was never irate or crazy or, oh, you're mentally insane. I never did that because number one, I knew, I was like, you got to keep it together. Keep it together in front of these people. Number one, these are cops, so keep it together. You can't just wow out. And then keep it together because I'm like, I'm not gonna let these motherfuckers see me break. Like, I know I know you just did, like, you fucking liar, you know, like what you did was messed up. But I'm not gonna let all of these men in this room see me break down. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna be upset, I'm gonna be emotional, but you know what? I'm gonna get my shit and you know what I'm saying? And I kept it together. But it was a really it was a really hard thing to eat while, trying to like get all my stuff, all of that. And they just escorted me out and I went home.
And was that the end of it? Like, what happened from that? Did he ever apologize to you?
Yeah. So, I went home and I would say like a couple of days, week or so, something like that. He ends up calling me, and I also put this in my story. A lot of things I left out of my original video on YouTube, but I also put this in my story. It's a sound clip of the voicemail, one of the voicemails he left me, just apologizing and, I'm sorry. He admits, like, I'm happy you didn't put me in jail. I'm happy you didn't call the cops on me and put me in jail and take me to prison. And he says, you should be fucking me over right now, but I'm glad you're not. Like, he admits all of that to me.
Wow.
Because he knows, like, you know what I'm saying? He knows if I would have been faster, smarter, if I would have more experience, I would have, boom, got my knife, phone. Yeah. I want to press charges right now. I would have did it like that. If I was in that, you know what I'm saying? Just like how he was in that mode. It's like he knew what to do to me. So
like, why would you say that unless you were confessing something confessing to something you did wrong?
Am I calling him saying, I'm so sorry, I'm glad you didn't press charges on me? Like, no. Why would anybody say I'm glad
if they're innocent?
Take any of that. They don't, you know what I'm saying? If they're 100% in the right. Yeah. If I feel totally right, I'm not apologizing to you for anything. Especially saying thank you for not putting me in prison and fucking me over. No. So it's good. You know why you're saying that. So, but you can't prove that. Like, people want you to prove that. So, you gotta have proof. Chalesa have to have proof of everything.
It's really sad. It's so sad how, unfortunately, victims have to have such a high amount of evidence, and it has to be like irrefutable, bruises or actual video of you being hit, personally, I don't know how much closer you can get besides what you've presented to us, and it's just kind of crazy to me that it has to be to that point. And even everything that you went through after, with even trying to get your report and everything, like, to me, I think that's something that you should talk about because, I had no clue, like, and maybe you can talk about that. Like, you tried to get the police report this week and you were met with so much problems.
Right. So, first and foremost, like, before you mention, like, how people of abuse, like victims, they have to have so much evidence. Like, okay, if I think of it black and white, if we're sitting in a court of law, it is what it is. Woman, we deal with millions of cases all over the world. Like, come with this, you ain't got it. Like, there's 500 more women standing in line, with black and blue face right now, you know? So I get it, but let's never forget, social media, what this platform we're on, this is not the court of law, you know? If we were, this is a court of popular opinion. And if we were in the court of law, I would have presented every single piece of evidence, you know, and he would have just presented his word like he presented to you guys on social media. So outside of that, like, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It's hurtful. It's hard. It's tricky. It feels kind of like a mind fuck that you have to go to the extent of like, my face is just swollen with blood dripping down and my arm's broken and I'm in the hospital. So I am now an abused person. Like, I got to go to the furthest extent, you know, like if you really think about like abuse on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, and 10 obviously being the highest, everything from 1 to 9 doesn't matter. You know, everything like, so I haven't been abused if I only land at like level 7, you know, but when people are not realizing this is just, you're just climbing a ladder. It's only going to be so long that I reach level 10 one day. And I do have the picture. I am laying in hospital. And then I could be like, oh guys, like, do you believe me now? I've been abused. You know, I don't want to, why do I have to go to, does anybody have to go to level 10 to say I've been in an abusive relationship? You know, nobody has to do that. So yeah, I went to, this week I went to the courthouse in downtown, and I went to like different ones and stuff, and I had them like run my name and nothing popped up underneath my name. My name was nowhere. So I'm like, okay, maybe there wasn't a report, because it's funny that they tell you if a report is made about you, you should have received a business card or you should have signed something. And I had got neither from the police officer that night. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So I go and I ask the lady, you know, can you look up someone else? And I gave him all the information, where the apartment is, everything. And so his name comes up, but his name comes up as the victim because he called the cops and told that lie. And if, you know, obviously coming, you know, the whole report's been written. They have, and I'll get to it, you know, they have stuff within the report. Actually, I can't really speak about what's in the report. They told me that publicly you cannot speak about what we're telling you in the report. So I can't say that. But if you just use your head, a report is just a report of the night. It's a report of both stories. And I told you what my story was, you know. So they're like, okay, he's labeled as a victim, so you can only be read the report. You can't have the report. The only way that you can have the report physically is if your attorney comes and gets the report. And I said, okay, the 9/11 phone calls, you have to issue a subpoena, meaning I have to take him to court in order to get a physical copy of it. But they still read it to me. You know, it's just because of they don't want you to have information about the victim.
I think it's so weird that they wouldn't have one that's for the other person.
I'm like, is it literally just going to the back and putting some white out on his phone number and stuff like that? What is it? Because I'm like, I don't get that. It's just so
weird. I would think that would be like a standard that both parties, you know, whether one was in a victim or not, would have something that would be edited for them, you know, like that they're able to have the report, but it'd be edited somehow.
Right. But see, I don't think my name is on that report. That's the thing. I think it just has Larry's name and the incident that Larry's been in, and they have my version of the story in there, but my name's not in it because when you run my name, there is no report.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So that's why now I'm dealing with that aspect of it. I'm dealing with the law aspect of it. I'm not even dealing with the cops and Larry and all of them. I'm dealing with the law aspects behind how things go when you have been in an abusive conflict with somebody. And because of the time that elapsed between then and whenever I went earlier this week, it makes it harder for the woman to prove what has happened. because it's like, well, why didn't you come a month after that happened? We've moved on. We have 500 other women that are in line. Like, you should have came the month after, so we could have kind of got you rolling and whatever you want to do, take it to court, whatever. But now they've kind of like, it's harder to prove now, and it's harder to say, hey, okay, look, I want that report. I want to do A, B, and C. So that not necessarily like Larry or the incident, but I'm thinking of it more on a bigger scale. I like literally removed myself from my situation, and I truly thought about all of the women out there that are in my situation are worse, and how they must feel. And that is the day I talked to you, and I was like so tired. That is what just, man, it burned me. It broke my heart. I cried all day. I cried on the way home. I cried when I got home. I could not stop crying because I was like, I felt so naive to this topic in life, because like I said, I don't come from abuse. I've never in my life have dealt with that kind of stuff besides with him. And I'm like, wow, this is what women are really dealing with. They don't feel justified. They don't feel like there is some kind of light at the end of the tunnel with my situation that I've had with this person. It's just kind of like you eat it and you move on. I don't care what happens to you psychologically, internally, even physically. It doesn't matter. You move on now, and it's like, where is the justification? I thought police are supposed to save us and protect us, but I don't feel protected, LAPD, right now. And I don't feel like I can get justification in this. And then it just goes back to, wow, now I get that understanding that why women don't say nothing. What for? What for? You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, remember I said I gotta be in a hospital bed with a broken arm, and that's when we can say something. But all the other shit, it's like, well, what for? Because you're not going to believe me, because it's going to be 10 times harder to do this, or it's going to be, she's irate, she's crazy. And it's just like, what is the point of saying something and putting yourself through all of that pain, reliving memories, digging up evidence, all of that? What is the point of doing that when at the end of the day, like I keep saying, no compassion. No compassion.
So what made you not do anything right away? Did you just like want to like sweep it under the table, or, I mean, cause I think that I kind of would be like, I wouldn't want to deal with it. Like if I was in your spot, I think I would kind of be like, it's fucking done. I'm just over it. I just want to move on.
It feels like a nightmare. It feels like when you go through those kind of arguments, altercations, whatever, crazy dramatic experiences, like it's like energy sucking. It's literally physically energy sucking. And you got to keep in mind, like, not to this degree, but this ain't the first time him and I have had these altercations. So it's like a cycle. It's like you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not addressing that. I'm not like, it happened. Like, let me just like focus on like not being depressed right now. I got to get back to working out. I got to make sure I eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just focus on that. Like, cause my life still goes on. So I don't have the time to address this kind of stuff. My feelings, I don't want to deal with that. And that's what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And I didn't address it. I didn't even think about addressing it, to be honest. I just want to move on from the situation. I want to move on from him.
And was that it after that? You guys didn't connect or anything like that after that?
We did. That's how the cycle of abuse goes.
Oh my goodness.
It just goes like that. And like I said, I'm a big girl, I'm gonna own up to my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said back in 2016, when I was like, that should have been the night I stopped. I had another opportunity. I feel like God was telling me, girl, I'm trying to show you that you need to get away from this man. He is like sucking your soul from you. Like, why are you still messing with him? Why are you enduring these things? So it was another opportunity for me to like, obviously not mess with this person, but like I said, like going back, he called me like a week or two later, and this person, someone you've been messing with for years, they know how to work you. They know
Yeah.
how to work you. They know how to
So
work you.
true.
Like, and you've already been in these kind of arguments before. Like, they know how to work you. They know what to say. They know how to say it. You know what I'm saying? And a little time, I mean, it wasn't like the next day, but like a little time had passed. And, I used to, towards the end, I used to tell Larry all the time, like, you're a narcissistic person. Like, you are a narcissist. You are. And narcissists, they know how to get you. They know what to say to you. You know what I'm saying? They know how to make you feel. And that's what he did. You know what I'm saying? And keep in mind, I was once a vulnerable, weak,
Yeah.
weak, like not that self-love, that self-preservation, that, healthy boundary, that still wasn't there. I hadn't developed it, So, yeah, he, hit me up, he called me, apologized, and left that voicemail, all that stuff. And it did take some time, like even then, like I was just like, no, blah, blah, blah. But eventually, over time, he kind of like broke me down, and he left to Iceland, I think end of December or January, something like that. And he really wanted me to go with him. And I was just like, no, like you go, and then we'll just see from there. And then he left to Iceland for a month, and then he came back. And when he came back, we had physical space apart. And you got to keep in mind, I think that's the longest I've physically been away from him, for a month. I used to live with him. Like we were, like I said, you see him, you see me. I'm in the background. Like, hey, and anybody that knows us, any powerlifting, whatever, they always see me.
Yeah.
So gone for a month, yeah, he came back, and it was just kind of like, didn't even happen.
Yeah. It's almost like you needed that
right.
time away. It's funny because I feel like there's a lot of times when we need that sort of separation, like even after my last breakup, like in my mind, I just wanted to leave. I'm like, I'm just going to go to Japan and teach English. Like, I was like, fucking something so different and just so crazy. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I remember just thinking that, but I think that mentally, it allows you to not be influenced by, the person, and gives you that space to think about yourself, the situation, and not think about them.
It unclouds your mind.
Yeah.
You can uncloud your mind and use your thought process, because when you like manipulated, or when you're in a cycle, it's kind of like, I don't know the right word, but it's like you're hypnotized. You're just like, okay, I will do that, and then you're just not using your mind. Like, okay, snap out of it, come on.
I feel like that's a common theme that women say who've been abused. I mean, it's almost like I know better. I know better. I know this is probably not right, or the verbal abuse, the way that we're being spoken to, like that is not normal, but yet I'm still dealing with it and being okay with it,
right?
Now we're cool, we're in love again, or where however that cycle starts over again,
No cycle.
Yeah. So how has it been since then?
Well, you got to keep in mind, like I ended up traveling with him. We ended up coming back together, and trying, and we ended up traveling together, and it didn't work out again. Just traveling together. It's not like our dirty secrets don't travel with us. They travel with us, and catching him cheating on me while we're traveling, in all these beautiful places and around all these cool people. But yeah, we have this ugly little secret behind closed doors that like nobody knows about. And so we ended up, obviously we broke up like end of March or something like that. And I came back home, and it's been like 4 months or so since I've been back here. And initially it was hard, because number one, I'm not physically with that person, and two, it's broken up, and then three, like he's across the whole continent, and he was just still being like a like a dick to me, like through text message, you know. I'm finding out, I think that's when someone screenshotted something, because he's very obviously public, but someone sent me a screenshot of him and the new girl that he's with, I think now. And that literally happened, I think, like 5 days to a week after I left, after we broke up. Like a love interest, girlfriend, whatever at that time. I don't know what their title was, but to me, you know, you just moved on getting somebody new. So that happened the week after, and I had like a troll, you know, screenshot and show me some stuff. And so, you know, that as well and stuff. So I'm just like, you know what? Like, it's okay, because the only difference between this time of us splitting, because you got to keep in mind, throughout our relationship, there were times we would break up and get back together, or I would catch him cheating on me with his ex-girlfriend, you know. I was always alone in New York, and all my family was here in LA, but this time I was home with my family.
Right.
And remember that love, that strong, that tough love, you know.
Yeah.
I had that here. And so I was like, you know what? It feels good when I'm around these people. It feels good when I'm around my friends and, you know, family members and stuff. I feel good. I felt like I was starting to feel healthy, you know. Felt like mentally I was very sick for a long time. And now that I'm like out of that environment, that toxicity, I was starting to feel very healthy, you know. Not every day was the best. Some days were shit, but I had more days where I was like actually smiling and laughing and like being myself. And so, you know, I just was like, this, I have to let this be it. This is it. I'm ready to let it be it, because I've never got to experience healing after dealing with him, because I would be alone in New York. But now I have my family that's helping me kind of like heal and keeping my mind occupied, or laughing around me, you know, or bringing good energy towards me. It was just like, nah, like I miss the person I used to be. I miss this. Like, I'm not that sick Chalesa. I'm not the angry, depressed, quiet, you know, just like always upset Chalesa. You know, I'm this happy, you know, friendly Chalesa, and my family helped me do that, you know. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what made you want to come out and actually talk about it?
Multiple reasons. One was for 4 months, and I said, and it's crazy because everybody kept saying like, "You're just doing this to bring the man down and ruin his career," and I'm like, don't y'all think I would have did that 3 years ago, 2 years ago, first year? Like, and then like, number one, I was with him since he was 19. Like, I was his number one supporter. Like, I just said in the beginning of this interview, I sacrificed myself for to be there for him and to keep my mouth closed. And you know what I'm saying? So no, this is not to bring the man down, but within speaking about, and I'll get to it, answering your questions, everybody, it's going, I guess, to a certain degree, it might either bring him down or you guys may feel some kind of way. But for 4 months straight, girl, and the more that people noticed we weren't together, and then I would assume the more that maybe he showed himself with his new interests, people are like, what's going on? Where is KingC?
Oh my gosh, girl, I bet.
Every day I'm getting direct messages. I'm getting my emails, you know, comments on my YouTube, all of that kind of shit. So, and it wasn't just like inquisitive, like I'm just being just genuine inquisitive. No, it was trolls. People like, oh, you ain't shit, like that, you know, just saying like what they say now. Not to this degree, but still to a certain degree that's just different for me. So
it's so weird. I think it's just because I've never had a following like you do, or you never will. Girl, but still, like, I mean, I think to myself, what are people doing when they're saying things like, I'm going to message her and I'm going to tell her she ain't shit, you know, like Larry's whatever, you know, or you know what I mean? Like, what? I guess I try not to overthink it, because I just would never do that. So it's so weird to me that trolls do that, you know, and it's sad.
Right. We'll get into the trolls, but like, yeah, they definitely was trolling.
So you felt like I'm just gonna just say what I need to say, and I need to get this done with.
Right. It
Because
was
that's what it
just,
felt like. Like, all right, I
right.
need to put this out there.
Right, because wouldn't everybody be like, why did Jay-Z just break up with Beyonce? We need to know why they broke. Come
Right.
on. Like
Yeah.
people were just being inquisitive. And then I was having issues because I like to work out with other people, and some of them are men, and I had trolls on their page talking shit to them because I'm working out with another man. They're not used to seeing me with other men. So
Oh,
they're like,
wow.
oh, Larry's stronger than that guy. I'm just like, okay, this is not, I feel bad. I feel like I need to tell people like, hey, look, I know you want to work out with me and maybe we can do like a workout video together, but just letting you know you're going to get some trolls that are going
Yeah.
to hate it. Like, I don't want to do that.
And
Like,
for
no,
starters,
like,
like, what a stupid thing to say already. Like, Larry's stronger than him. Like, to me, it's such a
like
stupid comment to begin with.
physically, but that's it.
That's
So,
it. Yeah.
right.
Like, he
Like,
lifts
stop.
weights, dude. Like, yes. When people put
Care.
so much weight, no pun intended, but when they put
Right.
so much weight on things like,
Right.
yes,
Right.
on that, I think of course, strength training and powerlifting and all that, that's all important. Don't get me wrong. Of course, I love
Right.
that. But when people use that, like, okay, really?
Oh, he's that girl, somebody. Like,
Yeah.
no, like, how about I have other attributes? Like, I have a degree. I
Yeah.
have, like, I'm somebody too. Like,
Yes,
what?
right.
Okay. Right.
Oh,
So,
poor thing.
yeah.
So you're like having to filter, like, hey, just letting you know, if we
Right.
kick it,
Right.
you might get some
Exactly.
followers, but you might get some trolls too.
Right. Oh my God. I definitely got some trolls. So, yeah, the trolls, people were just doing that. And I think it just got kind of like unprofessional in a sense. And then, I put this in my video, which I'm like, I think people just they selective hearing. But a lot of people were like, well, you only did this because he has a new relationship. And I'm like, okay, I've never once within any conversation or anywhere on social media or even in the original video that I put out, I never once mentioned his new relationship, because I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't really care. I
Yeah.
don't, I got to a point where I don't really care because I don't want to be with Larry,
Yeah.
and it's like, number one of the biggest reasons why I made the video was because he was still reaching out to me,
Mm.
I have my emails and stuff of me saying, move on, like, I don't want to mess with you, whether it's reaching out or whether it's using what do you call it, like making a fake account and looking at like my page and stories, or going on, like, let's say if I tagged you in something and then now Larry's on your page watching your stories.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
Facebook stalking, crazy girl kind
yeah,
of stuff.
kind of like, kind of like that kind of stuff, like
Yeah.
Facebook stalking, but then like also stalking the people that I'm being associated with.
Yes.
They're like, Larry's never looked at my story, but ever since I was tagged in your picture the other day, he's now looked at my story.
Yes.
And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, So he wasn't leaving me alone. And I put this screenshot in my video, but I guess people just didn't have time to read it. The last time he reached out to me, and keep in mind, he's reaching out to me to kind of like do with me like how he did with his ex when I was dating him. He texted her a lot and sending pictures and like that. Like he wanted me. He demoted me from girlfriend to side piece. Right. That's he wanted me to be a piece.
Yeah.
So while he's with someone new, so I sent him an email, and this was probably, I don't know, like 3.5 weeks or so ago, my last email, telling him like, hey, look, I've been asking you for 3 to 4 months to leave me alone. I've been dealing with your trolls. Even when I found out you had a new relationship, I kept it cool. Like, I didn't even, I'm not like, oh, let me go tell her what he been doing behind her. Like,
yeah.
Like, girl, that's for you to figure out.
Right. I feel the same way. I've had the same situation. I'm like, well, Exactly. Sorry.
Like, I have to figure it out. So you gonna figure it out one
Yeah.
day. I'm not gonna be the girl that's gonna be like, hey. So I'm like, I kept it cool. Like I didn't even, I'm just
Right.
doing my thing over here, and shit, you're all the way in Dubai. So, I'm like, it just seems like with all of this going on, from the questions and the collaborations and him and the trolls, why am I still dealing with this in
Yeah.
my life?
Like
You know what I'm
I
saying?
would want it to be severed.
Yeah, like literally you're a ghost. I'm a ghost. I don't,
Yeah.
but I get it. He is who he is on the platform, on social media platform, but you don't need to be reaching out to me either. You
Yeah.
don't need to be stalking me, like, or stalking my page, or you don't need to be doing that. So I'm like, you know what? This is the issue that I realize has been going on for so long. I haven't said nothing to nobody, in general. I haven't said nothing, and you've been thinking you can get away with this and keep doing this to me and keep, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
keep having some kind of hold on me, even if I'm not there, physically there with you. You think, oh, she ain't gonna do nothing. She ain't gonna,
Right.
just like, oh, she ain't gonna leave me. I'm gonna cheat on her. She ain't gonna leave me. I don't care,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. I haven't been saying anything. So I said, you know what? I realized that you a type of person that I guess you got to learn things the hard way. And I don't believe in serving people their karma. That's not me. I believe God will serve you your karma in your due time. But at the same time, I'm like, I have asked you for too long to leave me alone.
Yeah.
And I have dealt with all of the side effects of dealing with you too at the same time. And that's not going to be my world no more. A lot of time hasn't passed, but I'm regaining who I am back.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So I'm like, this shit is about to stop. And you're not going to think that you can just be, I'm Larry, I do what I want to do. No. Not with me. Do it with everybody else, but you're going to realize with me, you need to leave me alone, And so I, of course, like in my mind, keep in mind, when I first moved back from Dubai, I never once thought of making a video. I never once thought of telling anybody, of course, excuse my family, but never telling anybody, or, I just want to move on with my life.
Yeah.
But that wasn't obviously happening. So, I was like, you know what? I'm going to let everybody around me know what I've gone through, because there was a point in time when I did not let one single person know.
Yeah.
And I was like, everybody around me is going to know what I've been through with this person. They're going to get the answers to their questions that they're so desperately wanting, which I'm just like, now they're upset with me because I told them the truth. Yeah. Now they're, now all the fanboys are like, God damn it, she told us, why would you tell us this? This is not what we wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But you asked for it, like all thousands of y'all out there. So, I'm telling you guys why we broke up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, well, what happened? Why did you guys break up? So that's why my video was 15 minutes long, and it wasn't the cool, quick little 5 minutes that everybody, I guess, wanted.
Yeah.
But I'm letting you know why we broke up, my reasonings, and at the same time, I want, like I said, I want people to know what I've been through. I don't want to be fake no more on my page, because on my page, I'll keep it real. Like, I love lifting heavy, and I want women to be strong, and I want you to feel strong. But how could I be this woman out here preaching this, and I'm not doing it in my own life? I'm physically strong, but he physically strong. Look at them,
Yeah.
So, miss me with the power. I mean, I love powerlifting. I love lifting heavy, but miss me with the powerlifting stuff. Like, if you're not mentally, emotionally strong, like, who cares? Yeah. So I didn't want to be that woman. I didn't want to be secretly hurting and dying inside behind closed doors. But I'm out here like, yeah, I'm this and I'm strong and blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, I'm going to let you women know that, look, hey, I'm going through some shit, I'm breaking down a little bit, and I know that there are people out here, outside of the situation with me and him, that just support me, that love me, that love watching my stuff and follow me and love what I say. And I want to keep it real with you, because I know that you're going through something too. You know, I know like somebody got to be going through something too, whether it's the same thing or something different. And I don't want people to be calling me goals or an influencer or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not really truly influencing them the right way, you know?
Right.
Like
it's hard when that authenticity doesn't match up, you know, because you know deep inside that you're not being authentic with yourself. And that's in the end, that just chips away at who you are. You know, eventually it should.
it will, well, because then you start to take on just the image of what you want, what you like, what people like to see. And I get it, you know, like I feel like to a certain degree, he did that too. You know, I'm not saying all entirely, but I feel like a certain degree he had to do that because his whole lifestyle and income comes from social media. Yeah. So for him to get on social media and be like, so I've been super abusive to my girlfriend and we have not had a loving relationship and I cheat on her all the time and I disrespect her and like they gonna be like, wait, Larry, I'm not buying that belt. Okay. Like, come on, like like most people don't do that. Right. Yeah. So, you know, I could have continued that kind of pathway and been like, I'm this and I'm that, you know, but really like, fuck, you know, like, no. So I wanted to be like genuine. I wanted to be authentic. I wanted to be vulnerable, you know, and open my mouth and just say like, hey, look, I don't always got it together. I don't, you know.
Totally. Yeah. Wow. It's just such a trip to hear it all, you know. And let me ask you this. If there's another, you know, young woman that maybe, because there probably is going to be a woman who's going to be listening to, you know, to this and they're going to maybe be dealing with something very similar. Is there anything you would tell them?
Oh man, there's a million things I would tell them. A million questions I would ask them because sometimes I always feel like it's not within telling somebody, it's asking them questions, you know what I'm saying? And listening, like with intent, like not with intent to like quickly reply and be like, look, you need to be like this, have more self-respect, have more love about, like we hear that, we know that. Yeah. But sometimes people need you to ask questions about their life. Some people want you to be inquisitive about what's going on with them and sit back and just listen. Yeah. And like with eye contact and with like nothing else is around me is distracting me. Yeah. You have my full blown attention. Some people need that more than anything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's what I feel like a lot is lacking, you know, but you know, obviously I can't sit and listen to every single person, of course, but you know, but yeah, it is, it like, it stems down to what like I should have had, you know, that value system of yourself, you know, that value, like even when it's hard to do, even when it's hard to make that decision where it's like, I have to do something that I know is good for me instead of what my feelings just want at that time. Yeah. You know, that shows real value, that shows self-control and willpower. And I think a lot of young women, you know, they are highly influential, you know, and not just women, but men. Yeah. Clearly, because you see all these fanboys, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. These, like, not to be rude to them, you know, like, I don't want to be, they hella rude to me, but I don't want to be rude to them. I'm serious.
I mean, I don't care if you rude, because I would be. Right, I mean, I saw some of that stuff and I was like, damn, man, it's just so, I guess, I just don't think like that, you know? So it's like, it hurts my heart when I see stuff like that and people are just so quick.
Everybody says that. And, you know, I tell people, I'm like, don't let that bother you. It don't hurt me at all. It doesn't. I look at that stuff. Number one, like I said, I've been through mass shit in my life already. Right. So to break me, it's going to take damn near death. Somebody got to die to break me and crumble me, you know, like, so some words or something like, nah. But what I do kind of be like, damn, like that's, I don't like that, is when I see a pattern amongst it and what I'm seeing, and I'm going to just keep it so real. Like, and I'm not trying to be discriminatory. I literally am just stating some facts, some real shit. I'm looking at the kind of people who've been attacking me, not just the people who are attacking me, but going back to your question, the young women or men out there who are, if not in my position, about to be in my position. Right. They're all young. They're all really young. They're like 16, 18, 21. Like they're in that growing stage, their mental growing stage, where life is just throwing everything at them. And this is a time to experience, and what you do with your experiences make who you are. This is the critical moments of life, and they're very young. And it's like, I'm realizing all of the people that follow him, they're like him. They're just like him. They're just little mini versions of him. And it saddens me because I'm like, there's a strong mass of people. There's a strong entity out there that doesn't have a high level of respect for women, that doesn't understand compassion. You know what I'm saying? That are just being misled and misguided because they're naive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they're still learning themselves, because they themselves are dealing with things in their own life. And this is how they lash out and they vent. I hate that girl. I'm going to just leave a mean comment because she messed up my highly influential person I love, and they take it out on me or whatever, right. Whatever the case may be, they're highly influenced. They're easily influenced. They're easily manipulated. If me, at my age, what I've been through, if I can be influenced by him, without a doubt, they're influenced with the snap of a finger. Yeah. So the women out there, that's why I say, I got to keep it real. I can't get on I got to let people know what I'm going through, because there are the young women, the 16, 17, 18, 20-year-old women that are looking at me like, damn, she's this, blah, blah, blah. I like that. I gotta let you know, let's get deeper. I know you like how I look. I know you like my lips or whatever I put on social media, but I'm going to get deep with you. Yeah. We're going to talk about what's going on the inside, because if it's going on the inside with me, I'm not saying every woman, but I know it's going on the inside with the young women, the lack of self-respect, the lack of self-love, unhealthy boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, not developing yourself before you give yourself away to somebody. Yeah. If I did it, no, they got to be doing it. And I can't watch you guys walk around this earth and you're just waiting, or that one vulnerable moment, like how Larry got me, that one guy is going to get them and they're going to flip her world upside down. Yeah. So it's like, I kept it real because I wanted women to start reaching out to me and telling me, you know what, I'm dealing with that too. Yeah. I have issues too, and I try my hardest. I can't get to everybody. It's been a lot of messages, but I literally comment back in the direct messages, and I have conversations with them, and I keep it real, and I'm like, girl, I was crying the other day, and woo, girl, and she's like, girl, me too, and we like this, and I don't even know, girl, she's from Turkey, and I'm just like, I don't care, here it is. Yeah, I didn't have that self-respect, girl. I don't, so that's what I would say to the women out there that are probably watching this and are just like, damn, that's crazy, blah, blah, blah. I would say first, slow down. Slow down, take your time. You know what I'm saying? You're interested in somebody or you're dealing with something, focus on the issue. If you feel like I don't love myself enough, or I don't like how I look, or things within your life, whether it be boyfriend, school, family, just whatever, and it's consuming your mind to the point you don't feel healthy, or you feel depressed, or you have suicidal thoughts, or are you allowing someone to take advantage of you, or you just don't feel strong. You just don't feel like, fuck no, I'm not dealing with that. If you don't feel like that, you need to slow down. You need to slow your life down. You know what I'm saying? You need to be 100 with yourself, and you need to look in the mirror and you say, I don't have self-love. I don't love myself enough. What do I need to do to start loving myself more before I deal with this boy? I go get this dude. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it really starts. Yeah. And this is a testament to, if you don't develop self-love, or you don't develop self-respect or healthy boundaries, you will make decisions based off of that kind of person. And it will lead you into situations and predicaments where you can be abused. You can lose your life. You could drop out of school. I don't know, whatever the case may be. You can make decisions that are not going to be seeds that you plant to be in this beautiful garden. It's going to be seeds that you plant that are going to turn into a nightmare for you.
Yeah.
So if you're not making healthy decisions based off of true self-love and self-worth, life is going to be so much harder than it should be.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it does take that step to really examine, why is it that you're allowing it? You know, like you're saying, slow down and really think about it. Why are you allowing this? What is it about yourself that you're saying that this is okay for me to deal with? Or
Right.
this is for me, this is okay. Or,
Right.
you know, you're probably not self-conscious, but subconsciously thinking those kind of things. But nobody should ever have to deal with anything like that. Even if it's a heated argument, there's a line between arguing and being physical, you know, and arguing and being abusive with your words. And I heard somebody say this the other day, which I was kind of surprised they said, because he said, well, what does verbal abuse mean anyway? Like what is that? Like, what is verbal abuse? Like, I verbal abuse to my friends all the time. We fucking tell each other shit. And in my mind, I just like, you just totally diminished what real verbal abuse is. And I understand maybe you legitimately don't know what verbal abuse is. But when you start the conversation off like that, you already delegitimize it, you know? So you're already saying that verbal abuse is probably a piece of shit. You're just somebody who just must be a wuss or can't take your shit, you know? And there is a difference between those two things. And that part of that is the respect that you have for the other person, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh man, I had some, you know, of course I get the direct messages from the trolls, the young guys, but I think it was like yesterday or 2 days ago, I took a little time aside to actually respond back to them. And I would say I responded back to like maybe 5 of them. And keep in mind, these were messages like, you know, I don't want to be super offensive on here, but I hope you fucking die, you nigger bitch. I got like,
Are you serious?
Yeah, girl. I posted in my story sometimes, but I was like, you know what?
I'm gonna see that one.
Yeah. I got a lot of those.
Wow.
But I was like, I'm gonna take some time out to just respond to this person and talk to them. I picked about like 5 different guys, and I would say out of 3 out of 5 of them, they ended up apologizing to me. They ended up telling me, you know what? Even if I don't totally agree with that whole thing, I'm sorry the way that I approached you.
Wow.
And sometimes I have to look at them like, these are little boys. These are not every single one. Don't get me wrong. Some of them are middle age and whatever the case may be. But the majority of them, they are young. They are young-minded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, I have an option to either be like, fuck you, blah, 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 or not saying nothing.
Yeah.
Or I can say something and I can inform you, you know, and I can try, you know what I'm saying? Just like a mom and her kids, you know, like a mom and little kids, like she can't just be like whoop you and put you in the corner. Like, no, she talks to you about why you're doing wrong. And you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is an opportunity for me, like just like with women, how I put myself out there and connect with them. This is an opportunity for me to connect with the young men. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I applaud you for that, because it's easy to just say fuck you or just yes. Oh my gosh, that would be the easy route. But you know, I mean, I think of like, my husband always jokes about this, but he's like, you know, when I was 16, I was fucking a shithead, you know, like just the mind of a 16-year-old boy, 15, 16, that age. He's like, I did so much stupid shit. And, you know, and even me as a girl at that age, you know, I was so rebellious. I did so much stuff that I like would never do now, you know, but he would never speak that way now. So I think, but one part of that, to help foster a better language empathy, you know, maybe they really can't empathize. They don't have enough experience to even imagine. So the first thing they hear is just, oh, Larry Wheel's ex-girlfriend just wants to like take him down, you know, like that's their approach.
Super different. Oh, what? You know, I got that so much. Like, I'm just trying take him down or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I felt the need to like talk to them and say stuff.
That's
and a lot of
that they apologize, dude.
Yeah, when they apologized, it felt good. And I was like, you know what? I apologize to you. I'm sorry I had to break your heart and let you know your number one motivator got a little demon inside of him. He got a little something wrong with him. I'm sorry I had to do that to you, you know?
Yeah.
But like, that's what love is about, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you
It's,
know,
I think it's so crazy that people, and there's a word for it. I think, is it called the halo effect? Where somebody who is really good at something, an athlete, you know, or a celebrity,
right.
for whatever reason, we view them as amazing at
Perfect.
everything else, right? At all the things that we would think, great character, there must be a good parent, you know, all these things. And it's a psychological thing that we do as human beings. And I think it's always interesting because if logically, if we thought about it, like, why would that make them really good at those kind of things? Like,
Right.
there really is no reason why. It's just something that we innately feel
Right.
like, oh,
Right.
they're good at this, so they got to be good at this, you know.
Right. Right. Right.
But we're all human, and you know,
We're
I
all
think
here.
we're all human, and we have our own demons in different areas. And
Right.
I mean, all I can say is just thank you for sharing your story. And I think it's going to be awesome for people to hear, for young women out there who might be dealing with the same issues. Because I know that every time that I've had somebody, you know, like when we had Cece on, I got so many
Oh,
messages. I was
right.
like, just,
Right.
you know, but having tragedy in your life result into growing into something different, you know, and learning from that, and being able to share that story, I think is amazing. And in your own words, with no, you know, we're not trying to attack, nothing like that. It's just, I
Nah,
just want to
definitely
hear
not.
you and your story. And I thank you so much for coming on and sharing it with me.
Girl, of course. I told you, I'm thanking you. I'm like, is she gonna have me on or,
Yeah.
like I kind of hope she do because
Yes.
I want to do it with the right person,
Yeah,
and like
dude.
I appreciate you, man. You gave, like I say to a lot of women, you give me strength. You do. You do.
I'm so, it makes me happy to hear that because I would never think that. So it's wonderful. I'm glad I do.